All right, everyone. So, welcome to our product innovation series. This is a series where we focus in on all the cool stuff that we've been delivering from a Conversica perspective, from the product and engineering teams. What we're going to do is put these out at the beginning of the new quarter. So, right now, we've just started Q2. So, you'll get to hear from the team on what we put out in Q1 and all the exciting features. And also hear from the experts on how to use them and how to get the most out of them. So joining me today, and we'll get into getting to hear more from them. But I've got John Sansone and Will Beeler here with me today, and we're going to walk through all these features. So again, like I said, we're highlighting what we released in Q1 of this year, and so that's going to be fact management and fact testing, auto inventory, and link triggering. All right. So let's dive into fact management and testing for Answers IQ. Now, if you've been with us since October, you'll know that that's when we rolled out Answers IQ. And honestly, this really took things to kind of a whole new level for us. And for those that missed it, basically what Answers IQ has enabled us to do is we can take, crawl information from your site, pair that with other information resources that you have, and utilize this to train your RDAs to really become the smartest tool in your arsenal, right? And so what we've seen and what you've seen as our customers is that your RDAs are now holding conversations that feel more natural and are able to handle more complex questions from your leads and prospects with pinpoint accuracy. And really, that's the whole point here. And so, while that was a huge step forward, the management of the facts on the back end was still a pretty technical uplift. And so you relied a lot on our team to do this for you, which was a bit of a headache where you'd have to reach out for us to make some changes and organize all this for you. And so that wasn't really ideal and not what we wanted to your experience to be. So we listened and we learned and we updated the UI in Q1 here to make this whole process just so much smoother for you and give you the control to really control the accuracy and the relevancy of your RDAs as they communicate with your prospects. So to talk us through these exciting changes, I've gotten John Sansone, our product manager, who led the efforts here to getting fact management out. John, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy that this tool is going to make a big impact on what customers are actually going to be able to utilize this functionality.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone who uses the tool day in and day out for our internal uses. I love fact management, and I know our customers do and will as they get to use it more. But can you walk us through some of the, exciting aspects that the new fact management and testing now, the features here, and that what users can expect out of the box here?
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen here.
Pass it over to you.
So I think one of the things that we found most predominantly when we were working with customers on Answers IQ was that we would crawl their site, we'd come up with a bunch of different facts from the website, but it was just not capturing all of the edge cases that maybe the website just didn't capture. And so we were getting them 98% of the way there, but customers still wanted to do some manual curation, or they had promotions that they wanted to talk about for that month, and they wanted to be able to add additional content. So now the fact management allows them to do that. We see that up here, they'll have this add new component where they can add an additional fact to an existing topic that they already created. This was just one of those things where maybe a new product offering has come out, and instead of crawling the entire website again, they just wanted to manually add a couple more facts in there to cover the new product line offering. We also have a new edit topic functionality where you can create that topic from scratch and then assign the RDAs to this. And when you assign an RDA, and definitely for us internally, this is our internal account. We have multiple RDAs over multiple regions, and you think that those RDAs might have a different level of knowledge about the system. Thinking if we're messaging in North America versus we're messaging in EMEA, we have different product line offerings, different compliance policies that we have to follow, and each one of those RDAs need a different knowledge set. And so by assigning topics or facts to topics and then topics to RDAs, you can really capture what those assistants are capable of saying, or creating a more personalized approach to those assistants. What we've also added is some smart filtering, which allows you to identify if it was manually created, if it was created by your website, or even by your file a file upload. So if you wanted to give us a CSV, we would upload that CSV for you, or filter to that. So when you're I think the filtering comes into place a lot more when you're trying to say, hey, I saw this experience. I want to edit the content, edit that fact from this lead profile to ensure that, we update the language or whatnot. But what we released yesterday, which was our testing answers, now you can do that all in real time. And you can ask the assistant real-time questions about the fact base that you have curated here. So if we wanted to ask it who's our CEO, it's going to generate a response. And what we'll see is this response comes up very simply. And then you can actually see the corresponding facts that were contributing to that RDA response. And yeah, so that's what I have to show. The great thing about this is actually, if you want it to, if a fact came up that you want it, for the question, you could actually edit it here in line, adding additional functionality.
That's awesome. Yeah, that really just gives them, our customers, more control over how their RDAs are interacting with their leads, utilizing all that information that they have, and making it more accurate. Because of this control and that we're giving the customers, how do you think this overall impacts their interactions with their prospects and their leads?
Yeah, I think their prospects will receive answers faster than a normal human to human interaction. A lot of the times, sales reps will have to look up information, or kind of go through knowledge base articles themselves to identify what information is correct to say. So it gives faster time to response, but also gives some consistency. I think that having the AI leverage only the brand safe material, it's going to give the customers the ability to trust that every interaction, every time that question comes in, it's going to receive a very similar answer that's on brand, on point every single time.
Yeah. And I think that's been probably the most important thing for our customers as we've advanced this. And I think fact management is just another tool that's going to help make that happen. So John, I really appreciate you walking us through. So that was fact management and fact testing. So thank you. Let's go ahead and hop back here. I'm going to share, and we will bring in our next guest here. So I'm really excited to talk about this next one here, which is auto inventory. And this one's really important because if you know the dealership world, you understand that staying on top of inventory is really challenging. And especially as you're trying to communicate with leads in real time, it's a constant juggle. But we think auto inventory is really changing the game here. And to tell us more about it, we've got one of our lead engineers here, Will Beeler, here with me. Will, thanks for joining.
You got it. Good to be on with you.
Awesome. So let's get into it. So auto inventory, like I said, this is a real game changer, right? And it's something that, we've got this integration here that allows our AI agents to pull this instant inventory information and provide our dealership, our customers, provide their leads with updated vehicle information, right? But what I'd really like to do and just kind of hear is if you can show us some of the cool stuff. So can you walk us through, and maybe show off like what this looks like and how it makes the customer experience so much better?
Yeah, definitely. So if we start kind of just looking at what we had there, auto inventory is really about making sure that when someone reaches out to the dealership, it could be chat, email, text message, that our AI agents have live access to inventory, and that's up-to-date data. And that is going to make it so that the AI doesn't need to call someone to check. It can just do it in line in the conversation as it's going. And when we can pull that data in, we can answer those questions like, is X car in stock? Do you have Model Y? What are the prices? We can get real-time approved answers from the dealers and mix that in with other information and facts they have in their fact base. So yeah, I can pull up a demo here real quick, show you kind of what it looks like. I set up a chat just before this with one of our, just kind of a demo chat showing off what could happen here. So you can see this is through a chat, but the same experience happens with an email and text message. I can ask specific questions in this chat. I kind of say, hi, do you have any silver Highlanders available? Does a real-time lookup of the dealership's inventory. This is going to take the same thing that's on the dealership's website. It's going to show a couple different Highlanders that are available. It provides links directly back to the website, so it's easy to use. Throws photos in here as well. And that works in email too. If you're getting an email back and forth, it's going to do the same links, same photos, include that stuff. You can even get into more specific questions. So you can see here, I actually ask about a specific trim level on this red Corolla. The thing that's awesome about this inventory solution is it's not just going to say, no, we don't have those. It's going to give you alternatives. So you can actually see here, there are no of the specific trims I asked for, but it does have SE trims, and it's able to provide alternatives that are kind of compelling as a buyer. So it's going to try to keep giving you good alternatives if the exact offering is not available. And you can even ask a little more complex questions here. So what I'm kind of showing off is that there's actually two questions in what I asked. I'm saying any Priuses less than 20K, and what are your store hours? And so we first do a lookup for any Priuses under 20K. It finds a couple here for the client. And then it's also going to answer any other questions as well. This is kind of the power of our fact base, what John was showing off, combined with what we can pull for inventory. And it's able to, we can crawl your site or automatically pull all of that data down for you. You can manually supplement that with any other facts, and we stitch those together in real time for responses. And so it's just kind of compelling, and I love seeing both of those working together in real time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And maybe you can talk a little bit about how maybe some early success stories from customers, kind of what are some of the things that we're seeing out of our customer base that are already using auto inventory?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple clients, or I guess a large portion of clients that already have this live. And so we've been looking through the metrics to kind of see what's changing in here. And I think intuitively, we all know that with real life interactions, people are going to ask questions a lot. And so we're seeing that 21% of all responses, so just about a quarter, are asking a question. I don't think that's surprising to anybody, but uh, it is obviously a clear opportunity where our agents can help take some of that load off of humans. And I think what's awesome to see is that with this inventory offering that we have, we're actually able to answer 71% of the inventory questions with specific vehicles that are relevant. Some of the remaining cases, there's not going to be a relevant vehicle, even if we fall back a couple times. But in the majority of cases, there are, and we're able to provide those right away to clients. And I think everybody knows, having been a lead or seeing them at dealerships, if we keep that customer interaction streamlined, they get that response quickly, they're engaged, and that's going to lead to just a better overall experience. We've already seen that with a lot of our dealers, just with higher satisfaction, faster response times, and it's driving more conversions from that too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exact. I mean, it's really powerful, and I think it's more about giving our dealerships and giving our customers the ability to provide that such a better experience for their clients, right, and their leads. Can you, I guess, just kind of skipping ahead here, what is the biggest sort of takeaway, I guess, for listeners that are in the auto industry when it comes to auto inventory? Well, like what's something that they should get really excited about with this feature?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things. One is just the ease of implementation and then the speed with which it works, I think are huge. That combined with the fact that you're just taking away a whole area that your actual sales reps need to do, they can focus more on working people on the lot. They can focus more on other things. But I think when you look at it, like I was saying, we call your site auto inventory. It's just a button, that we click to turn on within the Conversica product. You have to do no legwork for that one. And then with that, it means that when someone's coming to buy a car they want to buy now, we all know that, and we can give them that accurate, up-to-date vehicle information. It's, I think, just a huge advantage to be able to do as a dealership, and it's going to improve that customer satisfaction. And we've already seen a bunch of cases. It's fun to look through the actual conversations as well as the chats, and you see a lot of cases where someone's asking for vehicles even later in a conversation. We can give them the exact information, and I'm heading to the lot right now. And I think those
Yeah.
in particular are just really exciting for me to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. Especially when you see like the outcome of that and they're, hey, I'm coming to the lot right now and that car is there and that experience for them is so much better because we've all seen the opposite of that, right? Someone show up to the lot and a car's not there or it's been sold. So this is really, really cool stuff and I love auto inventory. So if you're in the auto space, definitely it's worth checking out and making sure that this is working on your account and that we have this going for you. So Will, thanks so much for walking us through this. I think it's time to bring back John, and we are going to go through one more feature. We're in the home stretch here. So let me go ahead and share again. Cool. All right. So, John, welcome back. So, I want to talk about link triggering, right? And so, um, you know, just at its core, this allows us, our customers, to determine when to skip to a follow-up. And, I think so. If you think about like, if you're registering for maybe an event, and you want the AI agent to then immediately skip to the follow-up portion of that conversation instead of stringing them along and continuing the conversation as it would. So to me, it sounds like this is all about making the conversation feel more natural and responsive and tailored to the user's actions. Can you kind of go into this a little bit more and explain how it works?
Yeah, I think first I just want to call out that, we've had link tracking and triggering for a while now. And we've really expanded the functionality with this latest improvement to all URLs or all links that we are sending, not just from message variables, but from if you're configuring in a hyperlink or if Answers IQ supplies another link to the customers via email and SMS or via email. You will see that we start tracking that link immediately now. Historically, it was only for URLs that were supplied through a message variable. Now, on top of that, what you have the option to do is supply or when you're using the hyperlinking function, is you can decide if it triggers to the skip to follow-up function. And this is best used for in scenarios where you want to use a registration link to where you're directing the customer to an identical or directing them to an action page.
Yeah.
Or whatnot. Or if you're just supplying them with like informational like a case study or something along those lines, it's probably not the best use case, right? So you got to pick and choose which URLs to choose. I can show you what it looks like in the tool live if you'd like.
Yeah.
Give me one more second here. So here we have my conversation. I've went to the conversation editor. I picked my conversation that I'm going to be editing. And to be able to use this functionality, I got to switch over to custom mode. Switched over to custom mode. It gives us, our conversation editor. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say, I'm just going to drive them to our website.
It's a great place to drive them.
And And for click here, I'm just going to highlight that, hit this hyperlink tool here, supply the Conversica website. And then because I'm just supplying them for more information, I'm not going to trigger this. But if you want it to trigger to skip to follow-up, where we just follow up and make sure that they were helped in 48 hours, you could apply that. I'm just going to go here, and you'll see that a hyperlink applies. And if you hover over it, or you click on it, then the modal will come up to tell you what that URL is.
Very cool.
The great thing about this feature that I really find is when we supplied a URL in the message body at the beginning of, or in any message at all, we saw an increase in spam complaints, an increase in opt-out rates. And the reason is because the AI continuously sends that message, sends redundant information over and over with customers. And customers don't like to receive redundant information over and over again, right? And so we saw a spam, all of those rates come back to the norms once we started triggering and moving on to the next step of the conversation, creating a little bit more personalization because the customers aren't feeling inundated with the same response over and over, even though they've already taken action on the content we've already sent them.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So I love how this sort of feels like it streamlines things. It's almost like, recognizing and reading the room and moving and shifting gears to the right part of the conversation for customers. And so I think if you want to learn more about link tracking, link triggering, we have articles up there, help center articles that John's helped contribute to. So definitely go there to learn more. But I think that wraps up sort of this series, or this episode of the product innovation series. John, Will, thank you so much for your time. And we will likely see you on the next episode.
See you on the next episode, everybody. Thank
All
you.
right.
Here.
Thanks, guys.